There is no day without night, no good without evil. Each exists as a reference point to define the other. When it comes to even the best line of action figures ever created, you can't have a top 10 without a bottom 10. Well, this isn't the best line of action figures ever created, and it certainly isn't the top 10. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the 10 worst Star Wars Black Series action figures. Number 10, Constable Zuvio. He's a victim of circumstance more than the actual execution of the action figure. As part of the second wave of action figures for the first movie to be released taking place after Return of the Jedi, it was assumed that he was going to be playing a very important part in the film, especially after he had been featured in promotional articles leading up to the release. However, not only was he not in the final cut of the film, but he also wasn't an interesting enough design for fans like me to want to build up any kind of non-canon reputation for him, like exotic space pirate Sidon Ithano or the most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy, Boba Fett. Constable Zuvio is notorious, but for all the wrong reasons. Number 9, Bespin Luke Skywalker. There's more than one reason to be considered one of the 10 worst figures, and the reason this figure made it is for not meeting the very low expectations of Dan Larson. Bespin Luke has traditionally been my favorite Luke outfit. It's when the most interesting things happen to the character. The big fight with Vader, losing a hand, the revelation about his father. He begins and abandons his formal training with Yoda. The costume itself has the feel of a military uniform. He's still embracing the rebel soldier part more than the Jedi in training part. He still reaches for his blaster before his lightsaber. He's still very inexperienced and very immature, far too confident in his very new, very underdeveloped abilities. From the neck down, this figure is all there, literally, including a paint wash, which is something that has nearly disappeared from the line. But that head, that looks like they sculpted Mark Hamill's stunt double instead of Mark Hamill's himself. Where's my stunt double? Number 8 is Jabba the Hutt. And again, it's not so much that the figure itself is poorly executed, it's not. It's about what was asked of us as collectors. The best version of this figure is the version that came with Salacious Crumb and his pipe and bowl and at least a cardboard suggestion of his cement slab throne, and that version was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, aka apply fork directly to eye. The mass market version was just Jabba, no crumb, no pipe and bowl, not even the suggestion of a base in the artwork on the box. Just a big fat crime lord slug in a black box, but posed as though he is reclined on his cement slab. There is precedent for slithering Jabba, but that's not what was being presented here, and it made him into one of the worst peg warmers in the entire line. Number 7 is Luke Skywalker Farmboy. In our review of this figure, I stated firmly for the record that I was not impressed with the final product. Cloth goods shirt where I would have preferred plastic, a total lack of paint detailing on the figure's head, which might be a good sculpt, but who can tell? And like a stick in the eye, he's got double jointed elbows, which drives home the fact that Hasbro can do it. They just choose not to. All of it is compounded by his inclusion in the same wave as dashing and handsome Kanan Jarrus from the Rebels animated series, a wonderfully produced figure that is currently still in the running for top 10 action figures of 2016. Number 6 is Yoda. Wrong color, slathered on paint that betrays the actually very nice detailing of the sculpt, a cloth goods robe that was fraying before I even opened the package, and he comes with a lightsaber even though he's clearly based on the appearances in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Double jointed elbows on the smallest figure in the line, the figure least likely to need them, and no knees. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And how the hell do you charge full price for this thing? Was the snake included to make up for the rest of the price? He should have come with an Ugnaught, a Jawa, or some droid, or something that made it feel like you weren't being laughed at for buying it in the first place. Number 5 is Princess Leia as Jabba's prisoner. She's not called Slave Leia anymore. For a line that has had a shaky performance with human faces, attempting a nearly nude female was a bold move. They probably wanted to keep sales moving by delivering a figure early in the life of the line that would be on collectors' most wanted list to this day if they hadn't already made her. And for all intensive purposes, she's too fine from the neck down. I knew I was gonna And for all intensive purposes, she too is fine from the neck down, but that all gets negated when the head, and not even the whole head, just the face is rendered so poorly. For every one good example of the painted face, there were 5 that were laughable. It probably would have been a better move for a subscription-based line because on store shelves, this one stuck around on pegs for a while. Number 4 is Poe Dameron, both of them. Released in his X-Wing gear and the more casual jacket and slacks version as a 2-pack with a First Order Stormtrooper, neither figure delivered a likeness that looked anything like Oscar Isaac. And while both figures do have the option of just putting his helmet on to hide that whole thing, it stings as a collector to think that you would be thinking of ways to rationalize the quality of the figure just to try to make yourself buy it. Poe also makes the list for being a character that I really liked and wanted to own a figure of, but could not justify based on the potato-headed likenesses that were being manufactured. It was a lesson I had already learned with Bespin Luke. Number 3 is Emperor Palpatine. No, just the cloth, the face, his elbows, just, I don't. Number 2 is Darth Vader. Look, I know it's a process. I know there is no single person who controls the process from concept to pricing to manufacturing to delivery. I know there are changes that happen along the way due to unforeseen circumstances, budget cuts, materials that end up not working out as planned, paint colors that run out. I get all of that stuff. But Darth Vader has been produced in action figure form since 1977 with both regular and removable helmets, and never has there been such a poorly executed, such a sad-faced, disproportioned mess like this that wasn't a bootleg or a knockoff. His cape chain is almost as large as the actual chain used on the full-size costume. And while in this case, I think you do have to go cloth goods for his cape, the cape and inner skirt look like I made them out of fabric myself, and I am not good at doing that kind of thing. There are 3 3/4-inch Vader figures that do all the things this figure tried to do, but just about 100 times better. The biggest crime this figure committed is that I wanted to like it. I want it to be the best figure in the line, and I just look at it and feel bad for the people who worked on it, because this is not what they pictured when the process began. 2 quick honorable mentions before we get to number 1. First, Luke Jedi could easily be swapped out with Bespin Luke using all of the same arguments, and second, Han and Carbonite. I've seen pictures of you, so I know you're not really the worst, but knowing I will never have you is almost just as bad. And at number 1, how could you possibly make a figure that is worse than Darth Vader? Give him a translucent helmet and make him a Walgreens exclusive. This is reaching at its purest. Walgreens wants an exclusive after they did so well with the prototype Boba Fett the year before, but Hasbro don't want to spend a lot of money retooling stuff or coming up with an exclusive character. Just a quick and easy repaint like the Fett was. It was already a terribly executed figure. It was already hard to find out in the wild due to Hasbro's terrible distribution and brick and mortar shops that just refused to stock new product, and now it's been modified to represent a moment that lasts exactly 10 seconds in the film. 10 seconds where he is being electrocuted to death. You cannot use it for anything else in your display or play structure that is not specifically related to Darth Vader being electrocuted to death. Maybe if he was getting a holographic helmet fitting at some futuristic armor shop or something, but that's it. Only those 2 scenarios, futuristic helmet store or electrocuted to death. Those are the 10 worst Star Wars The Black Series action figures, a line that I love and would really like to see continue and get better. Maybe fewer releases, maybe a little more money in the budget for tooling and accessories without impacting the final price for the customer. I know that's like asking for magic, but this is Hasbro, this is Disney, there's money in the bank. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a like. Please make sure to subscribe. Producer Greg and I genuinely appreciate all of our videos. It's true. Share this video. No, keep it going. Let it go. Share this video and let us know in the comments below if you have a different list. I like our videos most on the internet. Removable hands and arms, electrocution, carbonite, open belly tauntauns. They even made Admiral Mati in his "I find your lack of faith disturbing" choked out position back in '99. Is there another action figure line that celebrates the most traumatic moments of the characters more than Star Wars? I can't think of one.
You did it.